Good evening, everybody. I know during the walk tonight, I was looking for some alternative games to play. I will admit I do very much enjoy BattleTech, and I know we had the power out last night, as well as the fact that I'm actually very short on time. So I realize I entertained the possibility of playing one of the other Paradox Grand Strategy games tonight. But given the fact that I'm going to be short on time, I thought it would be better for me to play something that I didn't really get enough time in last week. And I think BattleTech actually fits very well for the time that I have. So I just have a small problem with my Twitch desktop or dashboard. I'm going to refresh that. Again, another really nice intro. I think one of the things I like about that is that it's not necessary. So I don't feel like the game. I don't feel like seeing that video on its own is necessarily going to Johnny Big Time. Thank you very much for that resubscription. Almost half a year. Always delighted to have you in here, and the fact that you are paying for the privilege makes me think that you may not be right in the head, but I appreciate that insanity is to my financial interest. I definitely am going to have a chat with you about video editing afterwards, but I'm not going to do a full-length cast tonight, if that's not clear from the title, but I'm going to make up for the power outage last week. Some of you guys got to see the system walk with the tulips, and yeah, hello Jesse Quill. But yeah, so the thing that I like about that introduction is that it's visual enough. It gives you enough basic information at the beginning to sort of let you know what's going on. I think what the wisdom of the opening is that there's no easy way to tell the story of BattleTech. Like it's a fairly complicated, division of all the houses and things like that. And the game takes place in the periphery, so you don't need to know that information. But rather than just it being a bunch of robots stomping around, the you know, the game gives you a glimpse on this world, and then if you are interested in it, you can do the dialogue. Now, regrettably, the autosave didn't pick up the middle of the mission, so I'm not gonna be able to work my way out of the problem that I found myself in before the power went out. But that's fine. I won't deliberately sabotage my run, but I'm sure I'll have more opportunities to make mistakes. I've had a couple of interesting encounters about this game. So there's a couple people that I talk with at work on occasion, and I know so the pronoun thing came up again, and I mean, like, so this is the kind of, like, when I say this is an ignorant opinion, it's like very much a case of this person doesn't know anything about it and they're now commenting on it. But like, I'd mentioned I mostly just kind of repeated the stuff that I said on the cast when I covered it, and he says like, well, why does your robot have to have a gender at all? And I'm like, because there are pilots. I think one of the things that's really annoying about this attitude is not. So it has nothing to do with the pronouns, but it has everything to do with the fact that apparently you can't have a mech game that has a story. And I think where the frustration comes is that there have been people who've come in here and said that they didn't like the way that the story goes because it's only told through interactions with these characters. And then we have on the other side guys who are like, well, it's a game about fighting robots. There's not supposed to be a story. The thing that is so good about BattleTech is that it is very much like the tabletop game in the fact that you have rule books which have like short stories in them, and you've got a big series of novels, and you've got a TV show, and you've got, there's a lot that's been developed. And I mean, let's face it, not all of it's good. But there is a lot of effort that has been put into the BattleTech world. And so to kind of take this point of like, sure, why bother having a story? All that really tells me about the guy, like, I'm not like, it's not that I have some social justice rage that's coming up about this guy, but there's something about somebody saying it's like, well, why worry about the pilots? It's just the fighting that's important, right? It's like, well, that just tells me you don't care that much about BattleTech, which is fine. People are allowed to have their preferences, but I'm not entirely sure why it's really important for you to have an opinion on the other issue, which is, whether or not your character gets called he, she, or they. So I don't know. People seem to get really weird about this topic, and it's like, I'm not quite sure why it has to be the big deal that it is, but apparently it is. So anyways, I'll try not to focus too much on that issue. We're tracking Merrick supply convoys that have been delivering weapons and explosives to a self-appointed warlord here on Detroit. In return, his fighters have been wreaking havoc on local government facilities in the region. We need you to interdict the convoy and destroy it. So I think we'll go for a little more cash and one hit. Oh yeah, actually, so I'm giving up 3 salvage and a first pick in exchange for 70k. We are doing okay for money right now, but there's also not that. I think they said it's going to be light resistance. I think we'll go for a little more cash in hand. Okay. Let's just double check what we've got. So my character is always going to be in his Blackjack. Behemoth is going to be in the Shadowhawk, hopefully taking all the hits. Locust is in Repairs. Glitch is in the Vindicator, and Decker's in his Trusty Spider. So. I'll do some shoutouts in a little bit. We probably only have about an hour and a half ahead of us, but there are 2 lovely casters in here right now. I think they're both in here right now. Johnny Big Time and Jesse Quill. And I will be sure to tell you a bit more about them. K5, thank you very much for the host. Sorry, I asked about the Paradox stuff. I mean, this is still technically a Paradox game, just published. But I was not feeling 100% to be completely honest, so I opted for BattleTech, seeing as I'd be doing a short one. I don't think Hearts of Iron 4, if I did about 90 minutes of that, I'd basically get my introductions out of the way, and then that would be it. And hello everybody from K5's channel. Just give me one quick second here. Alright, they're going to be lightly armored targets. Commander, the real challenge will be keeping them from making a run for it.
Command interface initiated.
Commander, we need to stop those weapon convoys. Let's move up, get eyes on the target, and intercept them. Then we'll extract to the designated location. Good hunting, Commander. Well, the thing that I like about this, we were just talking about this, K5, is that because the BattleTech experience has been about the storytelling as much as it has been about the war game.
What can I do for
I
you?
really like the fact that they leaned into that aspect. Like they've really this game has an interesting world, and you get a good view of it in a way that I think people may or may not have been expecting, but definitely. I mean, I'm personally delighted by it. And again, that's what makes it a BattleTech game as opposed to just another mech game.
Aye, aye.
Now, again, we were talking about the complaint about the story. Apparently, is that
Target is within sensor range.
okay? I can actually talk a little bit about how these sequences work, which is good. Okay. But yeah, I think one of the things is like I think the complaint was that when you do like Shadowrun, it's a bit more like Baldur's Gate or Tyranny or something like that, and you've got lots of branching choices for your character and such. But of course, the main action of BattleTech occurs on the battlefield and the mechs, and you learn about the world as Kite. Long time no see. Great to see you. I'm definitely gonna get my my shoutouts done fairly early. Just bear with me a quick second here. I gotta shift my screens around. So, I mean, for my perspective, the way that they tell the story here is good, and it's one that is sort of true to the BattleTech world. You get to see, you're basically one part in a series of events that are much larger than you. And so, and much like playing the game, like there's a whole, I think this is the big thing, like it's just like Warhammer 40k, like the models look cool, and this, you know, the universe is delightfully over the top, but the majority of the hobby is the, you know, the battles and the painting, and that's what a lot of the BattleTech game focuses on. You're able to customize your mechs, and you run your mercenary company, and you learn about the world in between the action bits. So to me, this is a really effective way to tell a BattleTech story. But, you know, if you're expecting something like Shadowrun Returns, then I suppose I can sort of see why people might say that they're disappointed in the story. I think to me this is very true to what the experience of the hobby would be like. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to keep sort of my main shooters together, grouped up. They don't move as fast.
Coordinates received.
And what I'm doing here is I've got my light mech, which is a bit fragile. I'm sort of moving it around the side. One thing that's really great about this game is that detection is an important thing, so you actually want to get a view on the enemy.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Okay.
Sensors have something.
So he's coming after my
What's up, boss?
he's coming after my spider. but fortunately, he's not going to be able to see me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put myself into a little bit of a hiding spot behind these rocks, but I've got a special ability that'll allow me to get a sensor lock on him.
Position confirmed.
So this is what I mean by vision being kind of
Sensor
important.
showing a new hostile.
I already have an escape plan worked up for Decker here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sensor lock that's going to give me 2 turns of seeing this
Sensors
thing.
locked on.
And I'll also be able to know what kind of a mech it is. So this is the convoy that I need to destroy. This is going to be moving up this road, so that's why the main body of my force is moving up this road here. I'm basically just going to be peeling rubber with these guys, and Spider's going to be getting a little bit of a view. The main reason I'm doing this is because I've got, for most of my mechs, I actually have, I've got missiles. So
Full throttle.
the Blackjack I'm putting to full throttle because it doesn't have long-range weapons. So we want to basically be able to intercept these things when we can. Hey, Captain Zergy. And then what I'm going to be doing with my 2 follow-up ones, we've got a Spider right here. Now, because I'm in a Spider myself, I know how fragile those are. So one of the worst things that can happen to one of your scouting mechs is to have a sensor lock on them and basically get
Standing by.
pummeled with missiles. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to move my Behemoth up. I'd normally like to... sorry, not my Behemoth, my Shadowhawk up. The pilot's name is Behemoth. And basically, normally I would be running ahead to try and intercept this, but because I have an opportunity to fire with my LRMs, even though there's a low probability, I can still cause some
Firing.
misery on the Spider. Yeah, just a little light armor damage, so nothing too special.
I hear ya.
And similarly for Glitch, while I would love to use this mech for like a full throttle and run up to the road, I do have long-range missiles available, so I'm going to move them up. And because some of the evasion's been lost from that last round, we've got a slightly better chance of hitting with these. So basically, that's sort of how it works out. We've got vision on them, they don't have vision on us. I'm moving my people to where I need them to be. The mechs, a bit foolishly, are abandoning their protective targets in favor of trying to get this, this light mech that's hiding behind the rocks. The light mech is going to be able to escape. But we'll see how it turns out.
Standing by.
I kind of want to put them on a wild goose chase, but I don't want to be in firing range. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reserve. I want to see what this mech does. Okay, so they're not taking the bait.
Receiving you.
I'm still going to focus on this Spider.
I've got a sensor lock.
So the reason I did that is so I can still missile spam this Spider, and I'm keeping my own Spider in place. So here's what's going to happen. If they move their mechs to defend the convoy up here, my Spider's going to come in and take them from the back. If they try and put my Spider on lockdown, then I'm going to chase them around, and again, they're going to have to abandon the convoy. In the meantime, my main force is just constantly moving up this road, ready to cause the misery. Now again, my Blackjack here is not able to... Oh, looks like they do have a shot. Shot where, though? And on what? The angles on this are so weird. Well, it's on the Spider. I think I'm gonna go for this. I mean, it's high ground, so... And it lets me get a little bit more... Let's make it a little bit more done. So not a bad shot too, 70% for both of them. I could try a called shot, but in this case we're just going to throw out the... Ooh, actually I could leg it. No, we'll smack off a couple of autocannon shots. So this spider here is basically, if I feel like they can do something effective, they can sort of leap over the mountain and cause a bit of pain. Actually, I think I want Behemoth moving up. So Behemoth, I kind of want to go up this road, and the ideal scenario is that they start squishing vehicles. But we'll see. We still have some time before I want to rush. So, and again, being able to throw out some LRMs on a defenseless spider is a good deal. Well, not too effective.
Damn it.
We do get a bonus if we destroy everything, so
Waiting on you, Commander.
the longer I can sort of keep my guys in play and the less damage that they take,
Moving out.
the better off I am in terms of my pay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Didn't really pay off, but I'll live with it. We'll see what the rest of these vehicles do. Next round's going to be the most interesting because I'm going to need to start making some decisions in terms of what I'm attacking. But I have a feeling that their mech movement is going to force some of these choices for me. The one thing I don't want to do is bring my spider out into a very clear position, because basically there are going to be 3 vehicles and 2 mechs that are firing on
Ready
them.
for orders.
So similarly, I'm going to keep it in reserve. I'm going to force them to commit, and the my own spider is going to be able to make a decision. Okay, this guy is in for a world of hurt once we see him. Okay.
Waiting for orders.
So actually,
Receiving you.
Shadowhawk is designed to take a bunch of punishment.
Roger that.
So we're going to run it up right in front of everything. And we've got a Locust and a Spider. So the Spider's the weak one, but not a really great chance of hitting... Well, not a really great chance of hitting any of these things. So instead, we've got a Striker with a whole hell of a lot of armor on... Oh, nope, that doesn't work. Okay, well, we don't have any really great shots of hitting the Spider here, but we'll do the Alpha Strike and hope for the best.
Roger that.
This is where the sensor lock would have been helpful, because it knocks down 2 of their evasion. Okay.
Good to go.
Glitch is going to be my next one. Ideally, I'm going to be able to nail that spider, but I don't think... Oh, that's a good shot.
Taking the high road.
And the nice thing here is I'm actually able to divide my attention, so... but it's not worth it, so... Heat's always a problem on this one, but I am going to Alpha Strike it just because if we can take this thing down...
Time to die.
Well... Okay, that's not bad.
There's more where that came from.
I think my own spider is going to be able to clean this thing up. So my namesake... I don't think I need to be constantly moving on this thing, but it's probably not bad that I follow a bit. Let's see what my options are here. I still only have 2 ACs. I think we'll just...
Engaging target.
Yeah, we're
Yes, Commander.
making it a little scrappy, but nothing too dramatic. Okay, this is going to be a bit risky with Decker, but I'm going to try and minimize that risk by jumping to a position where he gets... Basically, I want him to be... Now, you know what? We're going to do this a little differently. So he's still going to be exposed. Actually, you know what? I can still keep him in reserve. Again, I want to see what the convoy's doing. So the Striker's going to start causing me some problems, but I think it's going to go for the Shadowhawk.
Ow! I'm hit.
Bad luck there. So in this case, I'm taking advantage of the fact that these guys are going to be able to move all on their own. So I'm going to need to be really careful about balance on Behemoth, but we should be able to... We should be able to manage. They're getting really lucky with those headshots. So basically the idea here is that I'm going to be bringing my Spider into play at a point where they've committed pretty heavily on taking these guys.
I'm showing minor damage.
Okay.
Good to go.
This is going to be a bit risky, all told, but I think my next turn plan is gonna help me out here. In the meantime, guys, let me introduce you to a few casters. So, first person in chat, I believe, was the legendary Johnny Big Time. Johnny is one of my favorite casters on... Yeah, the medium lasers really don't do enough on that thing. Oh, if that's
Armor's holding.
if that's why the reviewer was angry, then I don't think that's a legitimate complaint about the game. I think that's the way the game works. Okay, so I wanna move fast, but I also wanna fire my laser beams, even though it's not going to be that effective. So sorry, I was going to start doing these shoutouts. All right. I hate that I'm doing this, but I am going to precision strike. I was really hoping that would have killed it. That wasn't worth it.
Damage is minor, Commander.
So Johnny Big Time is absolutely one of my favorite casters on Twitch. He's got a diversity of games that he's playing. Currently he's going through Far Cry 5. He just finished the entire God of War series, including the most recent one. He actually has a streamer command in the channel. Some of them are more secret than others. But Johnny is really one of the most entertaining casters that I know. I've never seen him do a bad cast, and he always has something to say. He's always got a great perspective. He is just a lot of fun to sort of be around and watch. So it's just tremendous to be able to watch him do his thing. And I consider myself very lucky that I've sort of been able to chat with him off of cast. One of the things that I really respect about Johnny too is his ability. So he's very quick to pick up games. I think that isn't. I don't think that's really appreciated as much as I think it should. Like I feel like he should get more credit for that than he really does. But again, just a really nice guy. Pretty much, I swear he's a born entertainer. I don't know quite how he got so good at it, but he really is. And whether he's playing Fortnite or whether he's playing something a little bit off the beaten track, he's somebody who is a very nice person off cast, as well as somebody who is just a ton of fun to watch. He's somebody I really feel like I could learn a lot from. And again, I like the fact that he's willing to try new things, and he's willing to get rid of things that aren't working for him. I think he's got a great And he's got a great ability and willingness to learn, which I think is a really valuable trait to have. Next up, we've got my very dear friend Jessie Quill, my only mod, and definitely somebody I consider a very close and very dear friend. She is currently fundraising for St. Jude. If you guys are looking for a Steam key for this game, I can let you know that she is partnered with Humble Bundle. If you're looking for a GOG key, you can use my affiliate link. I am using a GOG copy of this game, although I got that as a Kickstarter. But I should let you know that there's a rather good GOG sale going on, a spring sale. Sega, that excellent strategy company that everybody knows, is on there. And Jess, if you'd love to share your affiliate link, this is a great way that you can either support the charities that she's fundraising for, you could also support her yourself, and there are some interesting games that are available. I don't believe BattleTech is on sale, it did just recently get released. But you can also pick up a copy of The Flame and the Flood for free at the moment. So if there's something else that you pick up, obviously money will go to a good cause, either somebody who is very dear to me or somebody who, or the charity that she's fundraising for. But more than just being an affiliate link, Jessie Quill is somebody who blogs about mental health issues. Individually, I've benefited a lot, both from her advice, but also little things like her retweeting my blogs, the encouragement that she gives me off of cast. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that she'll do to make everybody's life better streaming-wise. And it's not always recognized, and I think a lot of people have a tendency to take her for granted. But she really is somebody who's responsible for a lot of entertainment that she's never been too quick to take credit for, which I think is sometimes a shame because not everybody has always been as forthcoming. And she's one of the few people I should mention who, when I'm contributing to something that she's doing, there's a really unfortunate habit that people will usually ignore me and credit her. And every time I have done that, she's gone out of her way to correct them and say, and System Chalk did this. So that tells you something about her character. And like I said, she's not just an affiliate link, she's an incredibly talented caster in her own right. She's probably the most experienced out of us, and it shows. She's definitely got an ability to hold herself on cast. She's definitely got her own life going on, and so this doesn't necessarily mean that she's casting as often, but it is definitely something that is worth waiting for, and it's definitely something worth following for. Because she will talk about serious issues. I know a lot of you guys like that. She has a background in psychology, and she uses it when she plays story-based games. The first thing I ever watched her play was The Walking Dead Season 2. And she did a... she always does a great job with these things. I mean, I've been able to sort of play certain games vicariously through her with her Last of Us playthroughs and things like that. And I know there's some good games that she's said she's going to play. I don't want to ruin the surprise for all of you. But definitely if you guys like more story-based things, she's somebody to check out. And I can say we've even co-casted a very brief bit of Shadowrun Hong Kong. But I don't know. Maybe she'll return to the Shadowrun series. I hope she does. But definitely a very talented caster in her own right. Somebody who's a bit newer to the cast, I will mention, is K5RTO. K5, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, I think you are a bit of a newer caster. I don't know if you ever explicitly said that or not, but definitely somebody who is worth checking out. I've noticed whenever I've stopped by, sometimes it's late at night, so I just kind of put it on in the background, but I tend to see him playing quite a bit of Elite Dangerous, but I think one of the most rewarding things has been watching him play Cultist Simulator, which is great because that's obviously a game that I've really related to. Somebody originally came into the stream when we were playing Surviving Mars and just has a really wonderful community who had a... just a bunch of people who made that cast so enjoyable. I remember I did some extra time. We had a lot of fun with the photo mode. I actually really want to get back to Surviving Mars, but there's just so many good games to play. But K5 is another person who, again, new to this cast, but definitely no less appreciated, and somebody who's been very supportive not just of me, but of some broadcasts, or of some games that I would like to see some extra, at least to see some extra attention to. And last but not least, Kite. And K5, I think you in particular will really like Kite, because Kite is one of the nicest people I know. I talked about how Jessie Quill has been a behind-the-scenes support, and somebody who, again, just in terms of my own personal experience, I have definitely benefited from her kindness and financial as well as emotional support. But I can tell you, Kite has been a backbone to a lot of casts that I've seen. He's very active in communities, one of the nicest people, and I actually like to specifically mention his co-op casts. He doesn't always do them, but he's got this rare ability to be able to cast with anyone. And having had the experience of, sort of having a surprise co-cast dropped on me, I never really appreciated how hard that is to do. And so Kite, in addition to being just a very nice and very genuine person, I always like to point out, like, I've never heard him use profanity on his stream, and I've tried to provoke him. Kite is an absolutely fantastic guy. I do not think any human being could ever say something unkind about him. And he is, a very nice caster. He is a very patient individual. He practices martial arts, so he will kick your ass if you deserve it. But he's definitely somebody who, again, plays a great diversity of games. Actually plays games very different from what I normally do. So again, he's somebody I enjoy watching for that reason. Like, I mean, he's played Yakuza series, he's played Infamous, things that I just normally aren't on my radar. But he'll also play games like Battle Block Theater and Portal. So very diverse caster, definitely somebody who is incredibly supportive, somebody who I really think is an anchor of many communities, and somebody I really can't say enough nice things about. So I think that's everyone. I know you've all been waiting for this moment, so mechs really are best for melee attacks. Now the hope here is that I'm exposing my less damaged side to the enemies.
Reporting.
I really want to take out as many of the strikers as I can, but not at the Ha! You couldn't hit that broadside of a barn. I might actually run ahead and stomp this
Good
thing.
to go.
But here, I think we need to get up close and personal with the spider. Oh, Kite, you are a prince. Kite, my friend, that is completely unnecessary, but it is very much cherished. I really appreciate that. I didn't say those nice words so you'd sub to me, by the way. But again, just an example of somebody being very, very supportive. It is never a requirement that friends of the cast sub. But Kite is great. Thank you very much. And I love those emotes. I love seeing people using them. Those were by the Eyes of Sin. So if you guys haven't checked her out, she is somebody you should definitely take the time and look at. All right. So I have a few different weapons here. The PPC is very long, so I'm actually going to use that on this striker. Hopefully we'll be able to take down another missile. I do want to focus on the spider, so what I'm going to be doing here is the spider I'm going to use the short range weapons on. I'm going to use the missiles on the Locust, which is currently fresh. Hey! How you doing, Sin? And then the PPC I'm going to use on the striker. I think we might be... Oh, we're just on the border of overheating, but... Alright, so the LRM targets the Locust. It's a very low chance of hitting, but, that's life. And then the medium and small laser we're going to use on the spider. So we may not hit with all of these, but we're dividing the damage in good ways. If you guys have any questions about the game or why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them, feel free to speak up. But for now, I'm taking one of my gunslingers, and we're firing as we're spreading out the damage as much as we can. We're riding pretty high on the heat, but the nice thing is that I'm close enough that I can start sort of stepping on things or punching mechs, the ones that are still standing.
Here we go.
Okay, not enough to seal the deal on the spider, unfortunately. And let's see if we can take out the striker. That's a damn shame. I think I'm gonna have to start to get a little more aggressive with my spider. Okay, this thing's getting a little bit close to the end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna throw this guy right into the fray.
Engaging jump jet.
So in the worst case scenario, he'll just run up and step on this thing. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try the autocannons on the spider, and then he'll, my character will step on the lead of the convoy.
Engaging target.
Drat. Still want to hit the Shadowhawk. That's not great. That is really interesting if that's going after my Scorpion. That actually means I'm going to be able to take out the convoy. Oh no, they want it bad. Okay.
That shot went internal.
So I'm going to have to be a bit more careful with my Shadowhawk. I'm just going to be using them for stepping on things for now, but we should be okay because the Vindicator is going to be the next main target that comes up. Although I might get knocked down on this hit.
I'm going down.
Damn it. Alright.
Oh, sorry, Commander. I'm hit.
Alright, that's going to complicate things for me a bit.
Orders?
But we will persevere. So let's see. Sometimes you just need a good old-fashioned DFA on...
Death from above.
The problem is this wrecks my legs. So it's not the smartest move, but it's the best way to get him into the fight. So I definitely want to bring the Behemoth up now. Oh. They're definitely going hard on the Shadowhawk. Okay, so Behemoth can't move this round. Oh, I'm just shy of being able to stomp this thing. Alright, well, there's an easy solution for that. I think I'm still going to focus on this. Well, hang on. So I can hit the spider. I don't need to worry about the striker. Yeah, I think I am going to try and take out the spider if I can.
Engaging target.
Still not enough to seal the deal. I'm definitely going to need to use the next round to take this thing out.
Landspace deployed.
Fuck! Oh, that's bad. Well, you know what? That's part of the game. I kind of wanted to want to reload after that. That's a tough that's a tough loss, but that's the way the game's played, so... I gotta be careful about the heat on this
On
one.
my way.
The one thing I am miffed about is that I wasn't able to stand up right away. And I feel like Behemoth should have been able to stand up, but no point in making a federal case out of it. Oh, okay, well, I won't multi-target.
Roger that.
This is horrifying. I'm not accomplishing any of my goals.
Warning. Enemy in rear arc.
I'm actually okay with them being from behind just because I know I'm going to be able to weather it. The real question now is whether or not they're actually going to be able to whether or not they're going to be able to wipe out the rest of my my squad. They're going to do the same thing to Glitch.
Ready for orders.
Okay, so I'm gonna move Decker basically right into the thick of it. But
Aye,
I'm
aye.
gonna get him to focus on the Locust because the Locust is still pretty fresh. If I start going for the rear armor on the Spider, it's actually gonna be hitting it in places where it doesn't make a lot of sense. So,
On it.
so one of the problems with the Behemoth thing here is, I mean, I definitely put them in a bad spot. If they didn't fall down, then they wouldn't have been taken out.
You can see daylight through my armor.
They're probably gonna go for a melee attack. Nope, nope. They're going for the...
Armor breach. Internal damage.
Okay. So first things first.
Engaging physical attack.
So I definitely overestimated the tankiness of the Shadowhawk, but
Enemy unit
I
destroyed.
was also banking on the fact that I'd be able to stand up before the rest of the
Waiting for orders.
the force would be able to take them out. In the meantime, I'm just gonna turn around and kick the Spider. That'll hopefully finish the job.
Ugh!
How is that thing still alive? There we go.
Mech destroyed.
So what that's done is that's freed up a lot of my heat. So, I mean, my Blackjack's squeaky clean, but I'm going to be using it to step on that Striker, and then we basically just clean up the rest of the convoy. But I'm going to have to hire a new tank.
Ah,
Christ, she's almost
I'm
dead.
gonna need a medic.
If I lose 2 pilots on this, I'm going to be upset.
Yikes! That hit hard.
Okay.
Standing by.
So I definitely need to get Decker into the fight. I'll move him through the woods, and I'm going to
Roger.
focus on the. Sorry about that. So the focus here is going to be to try and drill into the Locust as much as I can.
Locking in all
If I can take this out, then I'm going to be able to... Well, I mean, taking out... Yeah. So what that does is that actually frees up Glitch to stomp the strikers. Or not. Apparently it's going to stand up and shoot her in the back.
I'm taking a pounding, Commander.
Okay.
Good to go.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to make sure it's a striker. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just stomp on it like this. Again, this is mostly just to minimize the number of things that can unbalance this pilot, because that's going to be how she most likely dies. And then in the meantime, the next striker, this is the most logical move because I don't want any of the convoy to escape.
Engaging.
We've already lost a pilot, so I want to get...
Get your lance to the LZ commander.
Yeah, I want to get the maximum return on this.
Enemy unit destroyed.
So I think there was a little structural damage there, but nothing critical.
That got through my armor, Commander.
Orders.
Okay, so I'm going to get Decker to... yeah, melee attack should finish this thing off.
Moving to position. Targeting for physical attack. Hostile eliminated.
That's right, he backhanded that.
Commander?
Okay, and then Glitch comes and steps on the striker.
Ah!
Convoy guards are down, Commander. Great work.
That's a vehicle kill.
So I think what we're going to see here, Commander, the area has been cleared. Darius has given me the green light to land immediately. Hold position. I think what we're going to see is we're not actually going to... This is going to be a net loss for us in terms of repairs. Okay. Well done, Commander. We obviously placed our faith in the right mercenary company. We'll let you know if we have any other work for you. So another 25%. We got a payout of 302, 812,000 sea bills. So again, the Shadowhawks in brutal shape, and we lost a pilot off of that. Oh, hang on. Looks like they are alive. So injured for 82 days, but not dead. Glitch is out for 40 days. So we're still not gonna, unless we hire somebody new, we're not gonna be going full strength on any missions. We could probably do some light work though, but we're gonna be doing a lot of repairs. So okay, so now I get my choice of salvage. I get one. I am inclined to take the autocannon or the laser. I think I'm going to take the autocannon because I have a use for that. And they gave us LRM small laser. Okay, not bad. We're going to need to do some mech repairs before our next contract, boss. Can't go into combat like this. See me in the mech bay when you're ready. Alright, so that's Yang. So let's see what that excursion is going to cost us. So here we got to refit the whole thing. I didn't know there was a jump jet in there, but... Oops. Although it makes sense, of course. All right, so that is 119,400.
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
Vindicator. Okay, that was 10. 6. Okay, so I mean we're still ahead, but that was like basically a 100K. In the end, that job paid us 100,000, and a bunch of my crew is out of action. Like we're basically working. We're not going to be working at full strength, or we're not at full capacity. We're not going to be able to do anything for a month, which means I've got about a month of costs ahead of me.
Anything I can do?
Hey again, boss. What's up? You want to talk about our new employer? Lady Arano. Yeah. Look, I know you two go way back. You had the same teacher and all that. Hell, you were working for her on the day of the coup. If you hadn't been doing that, you never would have joined this crew. But I'm not sure that I trust Lady Arano or Lord Madeira. I don't know, maybe I'm leaping to judgment. I like having money, so I hope that I am. There's just something about the idea of working for yet another shadowy aristocratic power player that I don't like. For what it's worth, though, I hope she proves me wrong. Tell me a bit about yourself. How did you wind up with this crew? Oh, we've already covered this. I think this just tells us how repairing works. Yeah.
Come back anytime.
So the real question is whether or not I want to do a group of 3. And the next question is what I want to do with my... I kind of feel like my character, I'd like to specialize in piloting. Yes, I'm gonna go pretty heavy on that actually.
Training complete.
I think we've already talked with
All ears, Commander.
Darius. Oh, so we're working for Lady Arano now. That was a surprise. You're telling me the whole Reach thought she was dead for 3 years now, and yet here she is. I've got to say, it feels pretty good to be on contract with House Arano again. The last time this happened, Commander Markham was still alive. Tell me about Markham. What kind of man was he? Markham was an ornery old bastard, but he got the job done. Great card player, and he shared my taste in holovids. We used to have these marathon viewing sessions. Have you ever seen These Gears Are Teeth? Great film, and a masterpiece of the Tokatsu Giallo genre. Markham always loved that one. I wish I could watch it again with him sometime. I genuinely do. Was Markham a competent mech commander? More or less. He was a decent tactician, but an exceptional businessman. I wish you could have seen him in action, Finn. His style was this odd mix of negotiating and holding court, and when it worked, it worked. Let me give you an example. I can't really do justice to Markham's style, but for the sake of the story, I'll try. You know our Draconis Combine rep, Shugo Reinhold Yagamuchi? Markham gave him a nickname, Bob Kurita. Every time he used it, he was totally deadpan, and he always used the full name. You trying to pull the wool over my eyes, Bob Kurita? Tell me more about the assassination contract, Bob Kurita. Bob Kurita, you look tense. Do you need a glass of wine? It sounds insulting, I know, but the crazy thing is, it worked. Something about the way Markham leaned into that stupid nickname tickled Shugo Yagamuchi pink. He'd giggle his way through every negotiation until tears were streaming down his cheeks. He had a routine like that for every liaison we dealt with. Some he'd rib, others he'd smooth talk. Everyone left the table with a smile on their face. Anyway, that's all ancient history now. Markham is dead and gone. We buried his personal effects along with his memory, and we did right by his kin. Best leave the past behind us. This company isn't his anymore, Finn. It's yours. So let's focus on what we're doing next and leave the past to the past. I think we've already covered his background here. Yep.
I'll see you.
I don't have too much time left, so I'm really not crazy about Like, so obviously I'm gonna have some time where I'm not at full strength, but I don't like the idea of not taking any jobs in the meantime. So let's see what we've got in the command center. Okay, so we've got a repossession. Let's see what that is. A compelling convoy was ambushed and looted for expensive industrial materials, and the perpetrators, the Magistracy of Canopus, are moving the stolen goods to a secure location. We'd like you to strike the convoy and just... Oh, I mean, the convoy thing is what really gets me. And we have intel that the Magistracy of Canopus is conducting military exercises on this backwater world. This is an opportunity to covertly advance Capellan interests in the region. We need a deniable force to intercept their drills and provide them with some live fire exercises instead. We believe there's a primary lance of mechs and a supporting lance of vehicles. Only the mechs are important, but if possible, eliminating the vehicles would be valuable. So that's going to be a full-strength lance. I'm not sure if we can take that on. I mean, we can take the 3 heaviest, but that's still a doubtful position, especially because I've got stuff being repaired. So what I think we're going to do, we'll at least wait for some of my my mechs to...
I've got the financial report.
To get ready. Okay. So, we paid $344 on operating expenses. I knew that was happening because I was generous. I can pay another $100K in a month that I know is going to be short on money. I think in this case we're just going to go down to normal. I don't like doing that because we are flush with cash, but I think at the very least I need to get my repairs done. I got some ideas with that Centurion, so I think once the Centurion's online, we'll get some work. Okay. Back to the mech bay.
Hey, Commander. Be with you in a second.
So this thing's just out of storage. We actually need to load it up. Are you sure you want to? No, I don't want to. So this is going to be the first time that I'm properly doing like a build for this thing. One thing I think that would actually be pretty decent in this game would be if they had like a template for you to work with. Just so you sort of know what a Centurion normally looks like. But the big thing I want to take advantage of is the fact that you get an autocannon. So we'll take advantage of the ballistic hardpoint. Sadly, I don't have an AC-10. Nope. So I do have that AC-5 I got though. And I'm not sure. I feel like I should put the ammo. With the weapon, but I will put it in the right torso because if the right torso gets blown away, it doesn't really matter what happened. So my remaining hard points are missiles and lasers. So let's see what my options are here. So I've got room for 2 lasers in the center. And missile hardpoint. Actually, let's start with the missiles. So the question is if I want it to be a short range or a long thing. It is brawler and general assault, so I should actually be getting in close with this thing. So what's the operating range on the AC-5? 360 meters. SRM-6 is 180. Well, that actually makes sense. We got 11 tons left on this. I can definitely beef up the ammo. So I can also chuck a SRM-2 on it. I'm basically committing. I'm committing to short range on this, but that's not terrible. Can try and fit a laser on there. Let's see. Large laser might be a bit much. I mean, I could go crazy with the... Do I actually dare do a PPC? Yeah, the heat efficiency is no good. I might be able to throw some heat sinks in there to fix it. If I want to get particularly spicy, I can also throw a flamer on that for when I'm in close range. But I'm not sure. I don't think that's the right way to go. Okay. It's pretty heat efficient. Oh, but it's overweight. I mean, the only improvement I would really make would be the legs should probably be a bit more protected, but let's see how this works out. So this thing basically needs to get in close. So this is gonna take me mech tech rating. Oh, okay. It's gonna cost me 4K. Oh, but it's gonna take a month.
Know when that's done.
All right, well. I think we're sitting ducks for the next month. Fair enough. Let's talk to Surmi. You ever wanted to know what the inner sphere looks like? Oop. It's more the periphery, but...
How can I help, Commander?
Commander Haley, what's up? You did good work back on Axlius. If you hadn't gotten Dr. Murad and her crew down safely, none of us would have made it off that rock. Just doing my job, Commander. You mech warriors are the one who take the real risks. Actually, I take this back. This job put us all at risk. You know what I'm talking about. The pirate point. I don't know how much you know about misjumps, but well, they're really, really bad. You could wind up in the heart of a star or in the middle of nowhere, crashed on some godforsaken rock. With my luck, that rock that's infested with fetid, screeching, mite-infested birds. Let's just be glad that didn't happen. Oh, believe me, I'm glad. I like myself in One Piece, and I'd prefer it if I could stay that way. Got some questions about navigation. Sure, ask away. Alright. I think I'm just going to accept that the game will transport me the way it needs to. I've been collecting stories about the crew. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm from a noble family like you. We're old money, made our fortune out in Rasselhag, and then repatriated to the Turian Concordat. That's where I grew up. I'm not sure if this is the kind of stuff you were hoping to hear, but we can talk about whatever. I'm not shy. Where in the Concordat are you from? I grew up in New Vandenberg. It's a nice enough place, I suppose. Do you like birds? Why do you ask? Because New Vandenberg is crawling with them. It's basically one big aviary. Something like 2/3 of the native fauna has feathers, flutters on the wind, and splatters its excrement across every available surface. Naturally, the original colonists adopted the feathery little monsters into the culture, and those of us that came after were kind of stuck with it. Statues, fountains, murals, you name it. It's just a giant feathery pile of screeching alien birds. If the system had a motto, it'd be squawk. I get the picture. You sure? Because I could keep going. I hate birds is what I'm saying. It may be an unpopular opinion for a pilot, but I'll stand by it until the day I die. Where'd you learn to pilot a Leopard anyway? The Turian Naval Institute on New Vandenberg. Well, among other places, it's a big campus. The low-gravity training station orbiting Lompoc was my second home for a time. TNI flight training isn't usually open to civilians, but my parents had good credit back then, and they could name-drop Protector Caladron. That'll get you pretty far in the Concordat, for a while anyway. Thomas Caladron succeeded his mother, Zarantha Caladron, as the Protector of the Turian Concordat in 3017. House Caladron leaders are known for their pragmatism and sound judgment. Thomas is no exception. The other cadets in my class weren't especially happy sharing air with the civvy, but they couldn't say much. I was nobility and they weren't. Everyone sort of kept me at arm's length, so I had plenty of time to concentrate on my studies. I got my certification in both dropship and jump ship operation in 4 years. I even tried working on a commercial jump crew for a while once upon a time. The people were fun, but it wasn't for me. The ratio of flying to violent jump sickness skewed hard in the wrong direction. What can you tell me about House Meyer? You're looking at it. My parents are both gone, blood cancer and heart disease respectively. Both treatable, but they were out of money at that point, and so into the ground they went. Ditto for my brother David, who went off to serve in the Third Succession War and never came back. That's a rough break. It is what it is. To be perfectly honest, I was never really that close to any of them. David was 13 years older than me, and he had a foot out the door before I turned 3. And my parents, well, they raised me by proxy, in the traditional noble fashion. There was no real bond there, even when I was young. None of this is to say that my folks were bad people. They weren't. They were just doing what they knew. Their upbringings had been outsourced, just like mine was. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about my family. They're gone. I'm here. The end. So have you got another question, or should we get back to our duties? Zergi, I believe I was Federated Sons and exiled. Your family came from Rasselhag? It was a long time ago, but yeah, as my parents told it, they were landowners on Pomme de Terre. It's an agricultural world, a sort of breadbasket of the Draconis Combine. And yes, I know what Pomme de Terre means. Potato. My ancestors came from the planet Potato. Took me some time to accept that, but hey, here we are. Anyway, moving on. House Myers, by the way, you can do the literal French translation and say, apple of the earth. Anyway, moving on. House Myers' holdings were meager, but the value of that land was astronomical. For minor nobility, we were really very wealthy. And then the Third Succession War broke out, and the political rhetoric got ugly. House Meyer didn't want a single part of what was happening, and so my ancestors emptied their accounts and ran. As a rule, House Kurita takes a really dim view of nobles who cut and run. Words like traitor and defector start getting thrown around. In the Combine, you really don't want to be on the receiving end of allegations like that. I wouldn't be standing here today if House Calderon hadn't granted my ancestors asylum in the Concordat. In all likelihood, House Meyer would have been wiped out before I was even born. Yeah, I sort of get what you're saying. They're Ray. Sorry, is it Ray Puskuk? I think the intention has been that so I'm fairly early in the story, obviously. But the impression that I'm getting is that the game really would like to just give you a glimpse at the larger politics of the sort of the great houses, and that the periphery is sort of where you can get like your gateway drug into BattleTech. And then I suspect what they're going to do in DLC is actually start exploring. So I think the only drawback here with Rasselhag is that, like, they're already making a bit of an ask for people to keep, tabs on what's the difference between the Lyrian Commonwealth, the Federated Sun, the Draconis Combine. And then, oh, by the way, there's also these little, there's these little enclaves as well, but they're not quite the same as these bigger things. I have a feeling what they're probably going to do is they're going to salami slice it out, and then probably my guess would be is that there's going to be themed DLC basically like source books for the game. Which I'm actually okay with, because I think that's a really good way of sort of sustaining a product over a life cycle, rather than just sort of expecting, like, the alternative is either a more expensive or a less developed game where they try to do everything, and then people who haven't like grown up with BattleTech are like, I have no idea what the hell is going on, and I don't care about any of this. So it's clever, but I think it has this necessary restraint for us where, like, you there's stuff like, I mean, there's stuff in BattleTech which I really want to see. And I remember like originally I had no interest in the Inner Sphere because like I only knew about the clans and I thought Jade Falcon was the coolest thing in the world. So obviously, you know, I'm not really eager to see the clans come in. I'm actually really happy to do all the Inner Sphere stuff. But I have a feeling that like everybody's kind of waiting for that one thing that meant the most to them, and it's either like disappoint new people into the game and the people who are expecting depth. And I think the idea here is that they'll be able to sort of put the TLC in on individual bits of later content. But we'll see. I mean, only Harebrained Schemes knows what the plan is. Okay, so like I said, we're just gonna sit in limbo until I get into better conditions. That's why I went normal on the financial report. I just didn't appreciate that the repairs were going to take as long as they did.
Ready to go over financials whenever you are.
I'm not ready at all. All right, so 258. This time we'll do generous because we should be able to do at least a couple of jobs. Or one. Let's just take a quick look. I don't know if the jobs change over time. Yeah, I think what we'll probably do here, we'll wait till Glitch is back, and then we'll do interrupted exercise so that we can get a big payday, and then we'll see where the company stands after that. Problem is that if this does some serious damage to my crew, then we're in serious trouble. Yeah, with any luck, that big job will get us out of our difficulty. Okay. We have intel that the Magistracy of Canopus is conducting military. This is tough. There are a few mercenaries House Liao trusts with tasks like this, Commander. Make certain our faith is not misplaced. We can both profit from this. The real dilemma here, I'd love to like go for the serious money, but if we're actually doing a proper fight, that's gonna mean there's some pretty decent scrap for us. So I'll accept the pay cut in order to get the 2-8 split. I don't want to do a 1-5, so I'd love to take some cash, but there's just going to be too much that I get out of this. So
Calculating course now, Commander.
oh, you know what? We might actually have yeah, we're gonna have bills before we make it to the job. That's fine. We can still afford it, but I wasn't thinking about that. Oh well, I mean that's totally on me. We could have been doing stuff while we were traveling to the job.
Got
But
a new financial report for you, Commander.
all right, we'll still do generous, but I need to be pretty careful with my finances. Basically, if I drop below $1 million, that's when I start panicking. So we'll be smart on this job. The nice thing is that I believe we're going to be able to just sort of slug it out on this one. All right, we've arrived at Lingharagan. Ready to proceed with our current contract. I mean, I could wait for the Centurion to become available. Yeah, I mean, it's only going to be 3 days, so...
Job's done, Commander.
All work orders complete, Commander. The crew is ready for the next job. Okay. So we're going to change the lineup a little bit. What's the deal here? Oh, refit to view warnings. Damn it. Okay, well this answers... I mean, for whatever reason, this wasn't done properly. Surely I'm able to...
Welcome to the grease pit, Commander.
I thought we already told them what to do on this one, but clearly not. Oh, maybe it's I don't have the replacement parts? Oh, hang on. I see it. Ah.
Logged and noted. Shouldn't be too hard.
I've got it. As you can see, I haven't actually haven't had to deal with damage like that, so that's actually kind of cool that you have to rip out
Get it in the schedule.
the broken stuff. So obviously, the Shadowhawk's not coming on the mission with us. So the fact, I mean, I have been setting my guy up as the melee guy. This does, of course, mean that I'm going to be putting myself into some danger. And Medusa can take care of the Blackjack because he's got multiple firing. So again, I want to be a little bit smarter with how I handled taking direct damage, and I'm going to make sure that these guys are providing enough cover. I'm not going to have the missile coverage that I used to, but I think that's just going to be an excuse for the Spider to get in with lasers a little bit more. All right, conducting military exercises on this backwater world. This is an opportunity to covertly advance Capellan interests in the region. We need a deniable force to intercept their drills and provide them with some live fire exercises instead. We believe there's a primary lance of mechs and a supporting lance of vehicles. Only the mechs are important, but if possible, eliminating the vehicles would be valuable. Pick these empty worlds for conducting exercises in hopes of keeping it secret. Too bad for them, I suppose. So, it's an Arctic world, which means we're not going to have to worry too much about our heat. Picked up the fusion engine signatures and weapon fire, Commander. Looks like our targets are in this area. Move up, make contact, wipe them out. So Centurion will take point. And Decker I'm actually going to put through the valley, which is potentially risky because obviously people can shoot down on him.
my way.
But he also has reasonably effective means to get out of trouble. I guess the big thing here too is, like, obviously I don't need to dedicate a lot. If it really comes down to it, like, I can take my time to to move on these guys.
Coordinates.
In this case, I'm just going to group my heavies up.
Commander. Moving out.
Alright, good to know. Whirlwinds reduce movement and spotting distance, but they provide cover reduction against ranged attacks on the front and side. Okay, good to know. I think I'm going to accept a little bit of stability damage to get in the whirlwind, just in case there is something nasty waiting for me, and there was, so that actually... Okay, it's the spider though, so... It's a reasonably strong spider, though.
Good to go.
Okay. So what I want to try and do here is gain maximum movement points while still turning and doing some damage to him.
Incoming bandit.
Ooh, that might turn bad for me. Yeah, so he might be in a little bit of trouble, but let's return the favor. I could go... what are we looking at? So if I try to go for the center torso, it's not going to work out. Only a 55% chance to hit. I don't think this is going to be worth it for the called shot, but... We'll see if his comrades can do something to help. It looks like they're actually going pretty heavy on my spider. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so let's see what we're working with here. Yep, I'm okay with this. I mean, the point of this is to close the gap, so... and I may come to regret it, but I am going to try alpha striking, because I've got a ridiculous amount of ammo for just about everything but the AC.
All weapons committed.
Okay. So...
What do you need?
my blackjack's the obvious next move just because they've got focused fire.
On my way.
I don't have anything else that I can use. So basically the last move is going to be deciding what I do with Glitch, and she'll just drop some rockets on that spider there. And with any luck, I'll be able to get Decker to safety. So, ooh, I am 100% willing to try a precision strike on the center there. It's 33% chance. It's probably overkill, but
Shot.
nope.
Enemy down.
I was trying to play the odds a little bit, but... Oop, looks like they want that that spider. But I'll be able to put him back into the whirlwind, so...
Waiting on you, Commander.
see what we can do with Glitch. So I think it's still probably the right call to try and move up the radiation field. Localized radioactivity interferes with targeting systems, but adds heat to units passing through. +4 difficulty to hits standing in radiation field. +10 heat for 2 activations to units passing through a radio. Okay, well I don't want any part of that. So yeah, we'll just sit on the mountain top, and we
Don't need to
will
tell me twice.
lob missiles at the spider until we can find something better to do. The nice thing is it is a little bit of divide and conquer right now. Ooh, okay, that's going to be bad for the spider.
Ready for orders.
Okay, so the best scenario is one where I'm able to like back off with maximum move points and still cause some grief on the spider here. This will give me a 4, but I don't get... Okay, so we'll do jump jet instead. Gonna want maximum depth in the... So again, it's very unlikely that I'm gonna hit with these, but it allows me to do sort of an offensive retreat into a position where I'm harder to hit.
Got it.
And it sort of paid off. So we'll see what the rest of these guys do. Okay, so for the Centurion, yeah, I think we'll just get a view on everything and see. We'll decide once we move up where our efforts are best spent. So really low chances. Oh yeah, I'm not able to shoot it there. Okay, so it's a Wolverine. I'm gonna run a little hot on it, but yeah, this is a tough call. I am sort of just standing. Well, you know what?
All weapons committed.
That's a big old waste of ammo. All right, now this is going to be a bit of a dilemma, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, what can we do? Spider's actually in a pretty decent position. So let's see if maybe we can jump to a better spot. That Wolverine's got excellent positioning. Yeah, man, that I don't know if that Blackjack really wants to go toe-to-toe with the Wolverine, but the Wolverine's only gonna... The Wolverine just has to move and it'll cause problems. Well...
Lifting off.
I don't feel...
Picking up a new sensor trace. Looks like enemy reinforcements.
Where are they? Okay, that's gonna be a problem. Let's see if we can seal the deal on... well, no, we're not gonna be able to on the Spider, but we can at least put a little bit of hurt on it. Maybe not. Oh no, it was the Centurion. Okay, that's good news. So the Centurion's job is to close the gap with as little damage as possible, so it can start punching the crap out of things. The good news is that the Wolverine's now in a nice spot for Glitch to do her magic, and she's got full Alpha Strike available. I'm not going to use the missiles on it though. I'm actually going to split it on a multi-target. Oh, actually, I can only use the PPC. That's a shame, but we'll run with it.
Got it.
Don't think that hit anything important. Well, that was optimistic. So I think the key for dealing with these vehicles are going to be... Oh god. I was gonna say, I thought the key would be to position...
Light damage.
Position behind these hills. But if they've got rockets... I don't think I get that option.
Waiting for orders.
So Decker really does need to be moving to stay alive. Yeah, see, the closer I get, the more in trouble I am. So, I mean, I can try a death from above, but that's a death sentence for him. My preferred move is one that lets me shoot the spider while still getting a maximum move bonus. The problem is that I'm going to have a blackjack up my ass in retaliation. Well, I mean, I think at this point I'm just going to have to rely on the grace of the whirlwinds to keep me safe here, so...
Location confirmed.
This could be a very dangerous decision for this little guy, but it definitely didn't get me any advantage.
Damage minimal.
So of course the drawback is that my Centurion is close to overheating. But we're still pretty fresh on armor, so I think we're going to move up. We'll try and make somewhat intelligent decisions in terms of... Alright, so... Yep, I'm okay with that. In fact, I'm so okay with that, I'm actually going to go straight for the center.
Engaging target.
That was really worth it. I don't think I get another...
Enemy sensor lock detected.
Alright, that's a bit of a bummer for the Centurion, but I think they'll be able to take it.
Commander.
Now, can Medusa do anything? Alright. Realistically, what am I looking at? So if I just open fire here... I think I gotta... I hate that I'm doing it, but I gotta make the move so I can actually see
On my way.
it straight into the middle. I'm probably gonna wind up doing like a bunch of chip damage around the sides, but I think I'm still throwing everything at it because the chances of hitting the center are fairly remote, but we might be able to seal the deal. Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's a pretty big win for us. We'll see what happens with the blackjack and the spider, because that could be pretty fatal. Well, structure damage, that's not great.
Armor blow through. Internal damage.
Good to go.
But now I'm free.
Got it.
I'm basically free to focus on the blackjack with my Vindicator, and the PPC should be pretty effective at this range, so... Well, 70%, but it's better than nothing.
Roger that. Firing on target.
And we missed. So I think the lesson with the spider is that they need to, like, even if they're in good cover, you have to basically use the full movement. That's kind of how you play them in the board game. So
Yes, Commander.
seems consistent throughout. I'm gonna get a little ballsy here. I'm actually gonna try and hit it in the back. The potential consequences for this probably don't need elaboration, but...
Confirmed.
So trying to soften up the Centurion. So this is a pretty important difference here, right? I know the spider's already made its move, so what I want to be focusing on now is actually that... what I want to be focusing on is the blackjack. So in this case, Glitch
can I do for ya?
is on deck. And... I can get slightly closer. I'm not sure it's worth it. What are my chances of hitting right now? Not bad, actually.
Special delivery!
That looks like that was a leg hit. Which isn't bad. I mean, it'll stop it from turning around and hitting that spider if I can actually kill it, or kill the leg, but I don't think that's happening, to be honest.
They've got a lock on me!
Alright. I would much prefer to use Medusa to take out the spider, but again, my focus is on the blackjack that hasn't moved yet, because if I can put a pretty big hurt on it, kill one of the medium lasers.
Copy that.
That was nothing. Right. Just as long as it's not hurting my spider, I'm happy. So, pretty obvious what we want to do with the spider here. I think I'm going to wimp out and expose both halves to potential enemies. The main reason for this is just I don't like the idea of my back facing a bunch of rocket-firing nasties.
Engaging. Missile attack.
God, that is always satisfying to watch. And obviously very good for heat reduction. And stress relief. So similar deal with the spider here. I'm just going to be running around shooting the blackjack in the back, and we'll see how the rest of the
Good to go.
turns shapes up. The condition will always be that I have to use my full move.
Moving to position.
So even if it means that I'm, I could be hitting suboptimal places, but that 4 evasion is critical to my survival. We do get a great shot on his back though, so...
Acknowledged.
Hey, you're not allowed to turn around like that. So yeah, we still hit the armor, sadly. So I mean, it's smart. It's hitting me in the back, but I don't actually plan on engaging. I don't plan on engaging from behind. All right. I think. Similar idea. We'll split the difference.
Engaging. Missile attack.
It's like the Black Knight. This thing's just a stick right. I think the weapons are in the center, so it's not having the intended effect. But
Ready for orders.
all right. So what do I want to do with Medusa? So see, I'd love to do a melee attack because, well, the problem is my back's facing him. So let's hold back, and
hear ya.
we'll get Glitch to do her thing. Now the problem here is I don't have a lot of good shots on... I don't have a lot of good shots on the blackjack, but I do get a shot on the spider, so I'm going to take a slightly different direction with this.
Moving out!
The important thing about Glitch is that she's able to split her attention amongst multiple targets, so I'm going to try and turn that to my advantage with regards to these two. So definitely the LRM. Alright. I'm okay with this distribution.
Uh-huh.
Right, didn't need to fire the missiles, but... Striker's a little bit stronger than I thought it would be. Fair enough. Fortunately, that means my Centurion gets to turn around and beat the crap out of the Blackjack. And looks like he's cooking himself, so.
Orders.
And another bit of good news, I get to melee attack rather than overheat this turn, so I'll do that.
Heading out.
Maybe we'll get a little bit of stability damage in
Locked
as
on
well.
for physical attack.
It was internal damage, but
Reporting internal damage.
so I'll be paying a bit for repairs, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. Okay, I'm a little bit luckier with Decker
Waiting for
here.
orders.
So the best scenario for me is if he can actually seal the deal on the Blackjack
out.
before anybody else. So I'm going to get in close range. I'm going to put a couple of shots into the back. It probably won't finish the job, but we'll do our best, right?
Got it.
I think the next guy I'll do is Medusa, just because he's already in melee range. If he's able to finish this thing off, then the Centurion can start focusing on the vehicles instead. So
Yep.
Medusa will kick. Hey, Docs Gaming. All right, well, knocked off an arm. And it got that very important knockdown. So you guys are gonna get to see a really fun move. Johnny, if you're watching, this will be 100% worth it. Unless he stands up this turn, in which case I'm going to call BS because I wasn't allowed to do that with my guy.
Engaging physical attack.
Oh, he's not dead? Jesus. All right.
Waiting on you, Commander.
I still want to focus on the Striker, so we'll move up. I mean, I am putting this pilot at risk, but we've got a fresh Vindicator here, so I'm basically just going to fire on the thing that's weak. How you doing, Docs Gaming? I'm all right. All right, well, maybe... So my choice is between the PPC or the medium laser. The PPC definitely does more damage, so we'll...
Tell me what to shoot.
Yeah, not enough to do the job. Part of this with the vehicles is just closing the gap so I can hit them in melee. As long as my armor's intact. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm bleeding, Commander.
That's the one thing I didn't want, because my medbay takes a while.
Commander.
Alright, what are we looking at here? I would have preferred to get a little bit higher up on the hill, but again, I want to focus on safety for my scout. I was really hoping he'd take that thing out.
Damage minor.
Alright.
Waiting for orders.
I would have preferred to do the physical attack on the Striker, but obviously taking one thing off the board is preferable.
Move her down.
And then we'll follow up with well, we'll see what the Blackjack does. I hope that's not internal.
Oh, my armor's melting off.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I don't know if I'm actually able... Yeah, I'm not able to get a physical attack,
Yeah.
so... But Medusa can, so... And this is okay because everything is gone on... Actually... Yeah, so this is the best Best angle.
Location confirmed.
So this pilot took too much damage. He's out of the game now. I think I'm just going to do a full-on sprint with the Centurion. It's going to have to be over rough terrain, which I don't like, but there's not a whole lot of other alternatives. Centurion's got the best armor, and Glitch can't be the only recipient of all this missile love.
Minor damage, Commander.
If her legs are intact, I might actually try a DFA on this thing here.
Orders?
Okay, I'm either gonna jump or sprint. So sprinting will get me up here. I don't think jump will get me nearly as... Oh, actually jump will get me in a fairly good spot. And more importantly, it'll let me get some sensor locks on, so...
Aye, aye.
So the real question about this striker is, am I able to take advantage of a weak spot? I mean, it's 57 armor. Well, actually...
I copy.
That's a pity.
Commander?
So the hope was that the called shot would be enough to take that thing out, and I'd be able to use her for a separate melee attack, but...
That's a vehicle kill.
Alright, so the biggest thing I need to get right now is vision on these other guys. The advantage, of course, I have is that I can sprint in my Centurion. I'm an okay pilot, so even though I'm going to be going on rough territory, I don't think that's going to... I don't think one vehicle is going to be able to cause enough grief. I actually really like the Centurion. And sadly, Medusa's not going to be able to do too much about things right now, so we'll just sprint into position, and hopefully we'll be able to help out the next round. The only thing is that Glitch is taking point, and Glitch is the one person I don't want taking hits. Holy fuck!
Lost one of ours.
That's horrifying. I don't think Decker's living after that. I don't see how I could have... I honestly don't see how I could have changed that. Like, unless you just straight up don't put your scouts in any... Jesus Christ. Unless you just straight up don't put any of your scouts in, you know, in any range.
On my way.
That's a second pilot that's gotten taken out in 2 missions.
Move her down.
Ready for orders.
Alright. Not sure the
Here we go.
Blackjack's going to be able to do enough against the SRM carrier, but we might as well
Giving them everything
let her
I've
rip.
got.
Cool. Hopefully it was worth losing a pilot over. Hold on, Commander. I've alerted our employers. Let's get out of here.
Mission successful.
House Liao has always believed in one thing, Commander. Victory at any cost. It seems that you understand this vital lesson. We're pleased you performed so well. So, got the payday we were looking for. Small and... yeah, and Decker's KIA. A shame. Alright, well, I definitely want part of that Wolverine. I was kind of hoping that they'd give me a jump jet as well, but... Alright, so to the hiring hall to spend our hard-earned money on getting a replacement Decker. I actually wound up going longer than I intended. We might have to call it here.
That mech you wanted is back online.
The Locust 1M model is interesting in that it can churn out a decent volley of LRMs for such a small mech. It's a great harasser, especially if you can use its speed to lob missiles into a weaker rear armor of targets, but it normally almost has no armor itself. Alright. I think we'll send that thing to storage. Alright. Let's get some new blood.
Reporting.
Will only work if you have an MRB 200 higher. Okay, cool. Of course I don't have anybody who's good at... Just gonna take a quick second in the barracks and see... I definitely like that sensor lock ability. So that is... tactics. I'm willing to train somebody up to get that, but I don't want to have to do too much training.
Awaiting orders.
Looks like Peng Hao is our guy. Oregon Commoner. The life of a commoner is much the same throughout the periphery, where conflict and limited resource make for a hardscrabble existence with few opportunities. Certifications and formal education are a luxury many marginal worlds cannot afford, and often a local tech expert is self-taught through trial and error, motivated by desperation. Maintaining the decaying technology in the inner sphere is critical to the survival of many star systems, where often poorly understood machines allow a planet to be even marginally habitable.
New
Alright.
mech warriors available.
In the meantime, let's... So basically,
Know when that's done.
between hiring and repair, we're looking at about 100K knocked off. We got some cool new toys to play with. The real dilemma is that I still have a team that's basically out of commission. So let's see what we'll see what our next mission is, and we'll see if we can go in understaffed. Actually, we have quite a few. So. Recovery. I actually kind of like the sound of this. So your objective is to reach a specified region, pick up the recovery target, and then move to an escape region. The unit that picks up the recovery target will be attacked by enemy forces, and thus should be able to withstand some punishment. Moving quickly to the escape region is critical, whereas defending units is not required to complete the contract. So let's negotiate it. And in this case, I'm actually going to go for full payment. Commander, I hope you're in good health. This contract may interest you. It fits your skills and the strengths of your company. With any luck, we'll both be able to get what we want out of this job. All right, so question is, do I want the Vindicator or do I want the Locust? I feel like we should bring some... else. So basically, I'm going to use the Centurion to do the pickup. All right, have a good one, Kite. This will be the last mission tonight anyway, but I really appreciate your sub, and it's great to see you again. I hope I get a chance to catch your cast soon. I know we always have a little odd times, but it's always good to see you, and I really appreciate you hanging out for so long. This will be the last mission for tonight, guys. Hopefully this will be a pretty brief one. Incidentally, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, there's quite a bit of activity on Twitter today, so I decided to contribute to the Make a Film Pathetic list. I was at least amused with my entries. Oh, thank you so much, Kite. You're very kind. I had a couple of things to say about Nintendo's IP. Joshy Man, thank you very much for the bits as well. Oh, okay, I'll make it quick, Kite. If I think it's gonna be extended, I'll let you know. But this is an in-and-out mission. Locate the scientist and retriever. Get to the research facility and take control with one of your mechs. Once she's on board, head to the marked evac zone, where Sumeri will pick you up in the Leopard. Best of luck, Commander. Oliveira out.
I doubt we'll find much in the way of entertainment here.
Okay.
Coordinates received.
As you wish.
The problem is, I'm assuming that it's going to be some pretty heavy resistance once we actually get the target, but.
Enemy detected.
Okay, well the good news is I can basically beat the crap out of everything that's coming after me, so. Sadly, I'm not in range to do a punch, though. So I'm going to take advantage of the woods, and I'm going to move in deep through the woods and basically just completely level this Locust. Because the plan here is basically I don't want to spend any time fighting once I have the target.
All weapons committed.
I like it quite a bit, Joshy Man. I was a Kickstarter backer, so I was kind of predisposed to liking it, but I'm like, I liked the tabletop game. I was really young when I was playing it, so like I can't say I have like huge deep memories of the game, but I thought they did a really faithful job of translating it to PC. And I think it captures the feeling of BattleTech without slavishly adhering to the
Yes, Commander.
to the tabletop rules. Okay, so with the new guy, I'm going to sprint. Oh, I was hoping to try and get a good angle, but
Going skyward.
I do know that some people have said that it's a little rough around the edges. There's some bugs that are still there. I can sort of see where they're coming from, but it's not been enough for me not to enjoy the experience. So I think it's easily my favorite BattleTech game, that's for sure.
Received.
And like I said, I thought they did a fantastic job of remaining faithful to the source material without without being let's see, what are we dealing with here? A Panther. Okay, that's actually going to be kind of tough. We'll do a precision strike. So very small chance of hitting it in the head, but I'm still going to go for it.
You have orders?
Okay, let's see if we can... Okay, I hate strikers, but there's not a lot I can do about this, so... We're still pretty fresh, so the idea here is just to try and take out the Panther before its PPC becomes a problem. So much so I'm actually willing to go for the center torso.
Target acquired and locked in.
Not quite enough to seal the deal, sadly, but that's fine as I move into the territory here. No opinion on They Are Billions because I've never played it, but I am a big fan of Democracy 3.
All weapons committed.
Again, the reason for all the alpha strikes here are that I have no intention of fighting once I get the VIP.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
Although amazingly this thing survived. It's not too surprising.
Warning.
Oh, for
Detected
Christ's
warrior
sake.
Injury.
Yeah, I will say the
Minimal.
headshots seem to have really grown.
Standing by.
I mean, I don't blame you for it, Joshy man. It's not the most intuitive.
It's done.
It's not the most intuitive set of systems. But I think once you get on board on it, it's actually a pretty solid game.
Yes, Commander.
No luck.
Orders.
I think the cover is more important to me than the extra evasion. And again, I'll just alpha strike it. So the good news here is I'm basically going to be able to squish the striker with my Centurion. I'm not able to get the VIP, sadly, but
Engaging.
yeah, well, Democracy 3 is a little bit like Crusader Kings 2 in the sense that you don't
Enemy unit destroyed.
you don't worry so much about all right. I wish I knew where the exit was. But while I'm at it, I mean, I might as well do as much damage as I can. You're in the area. Hold the position and get the scientist safely into a mech. Again, I'm just gonna alpha strike this because
Enemy unit destroyed.
We have the asset, Commander.
Commander, the area has been cleared. Darius has given me the green light to land immediately. Hold position. Oh, okay. Man, that was nothing in terms of resistance. That sucks that my my commander got a headshot then. Your performance was exemplary, Commander. I'll ensure that the Magistracy High Command hears about your skills. So, don't need to pay any repairs. And, oh, they gave us the Panther scrap. I'm okay with that. Okay. We'll just take a second here, see if we can train anybody up. So we've only got 2 guys now. Joshy, man, thank you very much. This is in honor of Kite and Chalk's awesomeness. Too bad Jesse Quill and Eyes of Sin aren't here too. Oh, maybe they are and you haven't seen.
Reporting.
Okay, still not enough experience.
Training complete.
Boosting piloting.
Reporting.
Good to go.
Medusa, not enough. Well, I can boost the other like generic traits. Yeah.
Mech warrior training complete.
Waiting for orders.
Definitely boost glitches,
Training confirmed, Commander.
gunnery,
Standing by.
behemoth.
Training complete.
Okay. See, told you Isaacson is here. So thank you very much, guys. That's 2 subs at the end of the night. I really appreciate that. So, in summary, we have a financial report coming up. I will have my Shadowhawk and my Spider available, but unfortunately the financial report comes up before I'm able to deal with any of these other problems. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to just tough it out for the next little while. I'm not going to take any more work. And I'm going to wait until I sort of have a full complement before I go. I'm waiting to try and go and do the story mission. But right now, my guys have been knocked out. Hey, thanks, Jess, you're back. But yeah, I'm going to call it tonight. I really appreciate you, Kite, for you hanging out. I don't want to disrespect your extra time. I hope you guys enjoyed BattleTech. I know I wasn't really on top of my my streaming game today, and I think that was kind of evident from my system walk. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. It was a lot of fun. And I will just take a quick minute and give a few thank yous to the people who are hosting. So obviously we had K5, The Eyes of Sin, Johnny Big Time, Jesse Quill, Kite, all these great people who were in here and active. But I do also want to acknowledge the people who hosted and also did auto host. It's very easy, not necessarily to take them for granted, but it's very easy to omit them from credits. So before we find someone to host tonight, I just want to say thank you to let's try that again. Custom Games, K5RTO, Nubasaur42, Malicide, Starbright Knight, Inferno Fowler, Johnny Big Time, Unknown Brigade, Maka Angzir, Mingo Duck, Ulster Fighter, The Miss Ariella, Flowfi, and Freighter5. All auto-hosting us tonight. We actually had a very good turnout in terms of the broadcast tonight. We are now at our highest level of subs I believe the channel has ever had, maybe with the possible exception of when Jesse Quill basically went nuts and started giving everybody subs. But we're even possibly pushing that boundary as well. So thank you guys. It does really mean a lot. Obviously the money is a nice factor, but the appreciation for what just the acknowledgement, whether you guys say something nice about the content or if you just hang out or have. By the way, I love my my heraldry and my paint scheme. If I had an Atlas, and the Atlas really is the best battle mech, this is how I would paint it. But yeah, guys, it really does mean a lot. It is very easy to. So I'll leave it at this. I think of a lot of people who I admire and whose, I think they're very talented creators, whether they're game designers or they're broadcasters or really any of the, just there's lots of things that people can do. And this is as simple as, Jessie Quill with her perler beads or Eyes of Sin with her doodles. It is very easy to assume that this person gets compliments all the time for stuff that you think is really good. And obviously there is I don't want to say vulnerability, but I really don't have a better word for it, in terms of sharing that you like that stuff but it is surprisingly easy for people to go for extended periods of time without hearing, your stuff actually means a lot to me, and thank you. So whether you do that through a sub, a donation, through hanging out in chat, through letting people know about the chat, through reading the blog, through reading the tweets, through liking a tweet, even just stopping by in chat saying, hey, I haven't seen your stuff in a while, I'm not able to, to stay, but wanted to let you know, I had you in my thoughts. It means more than I think the sender can appreciate. So it does actually mean a lot that you guys are doing that. And like I said, obviously, a sub means that you're giving up something of yourself. You've worked for that money. There are plenty of people out there who you can sub and probably get more consistent casts for. I'll say I have the best emotes on Twitch, but other than that, there's lots of other things that you can do with that money, and it's not lost on me. So that is definitely something that I appreciate, but there's lots of ways to show support to a cast, and the fact that you guys have shown that really does mean a lot to me, and I want to make sure that you guys know how much that means to me. So, anyways, I think Jesse Quill will particularly like this game that's being played. So we are going to raid the excellent Kilgore Trout tonight. Kilgore is a streamer with GOG.com, and he's currently playing Star Trek the 25th Anniversary. And I know Jesse Quill is a big fan of Jar Jar Binks and the Ewoks and things like that. So I thought if I could get her in front of a game that has those things, it'd be a lot of fun for her. I can definitely tell you that Kilgore is a really nice guy. He's one of these special casters who has achieved partnership during one of the strictest and most difficult times to get into it. There are a lot of people talking about how viewer numbers are stagnating and the requirements for becoming a partner are harder, and there's plenty of partners who are quitting. Kilgore made nonsense of all of that. He grew his channel off of retro games. He's got a great attitude. It's very easy to see why he is both a member of the GOG.com stream as well as a very successful streamer in his own right. I highly encourage you to watch him. And again, especially if you haven't, he's playing a bunch of games that he enjoyed when they first came out. He really does show you what a love of gaming over a lifetime looks like. So he's again, Jesse Quill, Johnny Big Time, Kite, these are people who are my safety recommendations. And so I'd feel great if you guys could come along with a raid for Kilgore Trout. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.